Welcome to Mindset Talks Podcast. It's your girls, Cassie
and Amanda.
And we are here to share our mindsets,
elevate yours, and have some fun while achieving better versions of ourselves.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, my beautiful best friend.
How goes it?
Today is actually, I feel like I always start off when I say things like that, but today's a good day. We'll just say that. I don't know why. I just seem to be in an extra good mood today.
That's because we're together.
That is true. You always put like a smile on my face, and for that I am forever grateful.
I'm not even going to take the credit. You definitely had a mad energy before.
I did, but it's just because I get so pumped up and excited to chat with you. And
yes.
Do this
brings out the old teenage girls in us.
It does. We used to be together like all the fucking time, and now that we don't live close to each other, it sucks. So like things are different, but the podcast has definitely like brought us closer together, which I like. So
me too. You know what's really random? I always remember like the one time I've cooked like a hamburger for you at my house. I think it was like super random. I think it was like it was like high school. I don't think it was middle school, but I remember like cooked you a hamburger, like seasoned it up and everything. You're like, oh, this is good. And I was all proud of myself. I think that was like the first time I've ever cooked for one of my friends. So that's probably why I remember it. I don't know. Super random, but yeah, feels special.
Well, I don't know why you saying that just made me think about all the times I would come over to your house and I would be obsessed with your grandma's grape Kool-Aid.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we used to mix that shit with Pepsi.
Oh, is that what you guys did?
Yeah.
Oh, because that shit was so good. And I just remember there being like pounds of sugar in it.
Like individual cups, like our personal cups, we would mix it with Pepsi. That wasn't her.
Oh,
her recipe.
Like her recipe. Oh.
No, just put mad sugar in that shit.
That's why I just remember there being like mad sugar, but it was so good.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't even tell you the last time I drank Kool-Aid.
Same, actually. I haven't made it in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I'm like not even enticed by it. I'm just like, oh, Kool-Aid, cool.
Right.
I feel like I've drank plenty of it and plenty of sugar, so definitely. I don't really need it,
Yeah, no, that's true. But grandma definitely always had it in the house, that's for sure.
Yes. Yes. I thought you were going to say you're obsessed with her accent. I was going to say because you never understood her.
I really didn't.
Hey, Cassie, how you doing? You just look like and I'm like, Cassie, she asked how you're doing. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I'm like,
oh my god, I do remember
whole translator. Oh my goodness.
I know. I would always look at you and be like, Amanda, what did she just say? But that seems to be like a thing with me. I feel like I can never understand like what people are saying to me, which is kind of weird when you think about it, because I was like so good at reading my dad's lips when he lost his voice. So like I can totally understand what he's saying when he's not saying anything, but I can't understand shit.
Her accent. She had that southern twang, but I mean, you also weren't like in a situation of having to really like force yourself. I mean, it's not like you like really needed to converse with her every single day, so it was a totally different situation. But I mean, hell, she used to call Nat Nat yeah. Your friend called who? That girl who? Yeah, Nat Nat yeah. Okay. So I get it, but I remember my neighbors, they didn't even understand my grandma half the time, so you weren't alone, just so you know.
Gotcha. Oh, I didn't put my phone on do not disturb. God damn it. It's always something.
But yeah. So what are we getting into today?
Well, on the topic of conversations and not being able to understand each other, it was very, very, very like short, but I had a good conversation with one of my employees today, where we actually understood each other. And I think it's pretty cool to be able to have like that connection with people. Because if you don't remember when we talked about in our New Year's episode, I had mentioned that I need to start being more like personable and things like that when I'm at work and stuff. And I think that I nailed that on the head today at work. So
yay! Okay, look at
Pat
you.
on the back to me.
It's early into the year. You're already making strides.
I know. Would you believe it? But I have to admit though, it was all through like this like messaging thing that we have on the computer. So it wasn't like I wasn't talking to her on the phone. It wasn't in person, so it was a
Girl,
little
it's
easier.
2022. Communication is communication.
See, okay, that is true. So you're on my side. I like it. So
Of course.
um but anyways, so I forget how exactly it like came into the conversation, but she had mentioned to me that today is the anniversary of her dad's death.
Mm.
Um and I don't remember exactly her situation, but I want to say it was something not like ours. It was more of a tragic scenario to where I think it was like a motor vehicle accident.
Mm. That's really
Um
hard.
yeah, and I don't know like how old she was, but I don't think maybe like sometime around like our age of when we lost our parents. I don't really know specifics. But today was her dad's anniversary and she was like, I already had my like crying session like at my desk for like a few minutes and I'm like,
Aw.
that's totally fine, especially given like the work that we do and stuff like that. I was like, sometimes you can't help it and you just got to do what you got to do to let it out of your system.
For sure.
But then I had me thinking and I was like, why are you here? Like I would have let her like take the day. I mean, obviously you have to worry about like staffing and stuff.
Hmm.
But I would have let her take the day off because like who to me anyway, like who wants to come to work on that day?
Not me.
Same here. Um and then I told her, I just kind of like talked to her and I was like, I totally understand like where you're coming from. You got to do, what you got to do sometimes and then what did she said something and then it came up in the conversation about how we are in an unfortunate club together.
Mm.
Oh,
The
that's
Dead
what it was.
Parents Club.
Yeah, because that's what it was.
Hmm.
She said something about that it's unfortunate that I understand where she's coming from or that like I can like relate to how she's feeling. And I was like, yeah, well, unfortunately, we're both a part of this club that nobody wants to be a part of, but at the same time, it is comforting and good to know that you're not alone in that situation.
Yeah, it's like a catch 22.
Yeah. So it's definitely like it's just a weird situation to be in. But I
Hmm.
do think it really is helpful when you can kind of like make that connection with somebody, especially at a young age, because she's not like an older employee. I would say
Right.
she's definitely around like our age. So to be at our age, which I do consider to still be pretty young,
Oh, for
um,
sure.
is definitely hard and not a common thing to come across other people who have experienced like a loss of a parent. Um,
I
so
agree.
it was just kind of cool that we were able to like relate in that way.
It's always nice. I feel like when I come across people like that who are part of the Dead Parents Club and, they've become a part of that club, in quotation, so to speak,
Hmm.
at a younger age, it it like I just feel for them even more,
Yeah.
because of being someone of the same caliber. But even for people who are older and lost their parents due to old age, like I still feel like I can relate with them very well
Hmm.
too, which I feel like is also weird because it's just like, you're so to speak at an age where it's more appropriate, I guess, to lose your parent because you're up in your 50s and 60s and then you lost your parent who's in their 70s, 80s, 90s and I'm like, "Oh, that's more settling." But even when you talk to those people, it's never settling. It's never any.
Right. No, it definitely isn't. I know, like my mom, for example, when she lost her dad, she was, still young, I guess. Maybe she was like in her like 50s or something like that.
Mhm.
But she's still like devastated over that. And it wasn't necessarily, it was considered a natural death, you can say, but it wasn't like of an old age. I think he had he had like a stroke that like led to like a brain aneurysm or something.
It's still tragic.
Exactly. And I know that it still like tears her up inside and it's been like well over 10 years since that happened.
Right.
But like you said, age doesn't always necessarily mean like it gets easier.
Correct, correct. But I like how suggested that she shouldn't even have been there
Mhm.
for that day of it being his passing, because I know myself when it comes to the day my mom passed, when it comes to my mom's birthday, those are 2 days you will not find me at work,
Yeah. It's
like, at
hard.
all. Yeah, I take that off religiously. Like, even last year, I think it was last year, I even took off Mother's Day too, just to
Did
be
you?
able to, right, just to like soak it all in.
Mhm.
Because I feel like on those days I'm more easily triggered, and the environment that I work in is just, I come across so many people. I work with the public. So someone triggering me can happen at any point.
Right.
And it's not necessarily intentional triggering, but it can happen. And I don't want to
Mhm.
set myself up for that.
Yeah, no, definitely not. especially especially when you get in that state too. You never want to like say something that, you don't mean or whatever. And if you can avoid that, then go for it.
Right. Yeah. I know one year, Crystal and I, we wanted to go get like lobster rolls or whatever on my mom's. I don't know if it was her death. It might have been her death date that we were gonna go get like lobster rolls from somewhere, just because like my mom loved lobster rolls. We love seafood. Like, it
Mhm.
was just like little simple things like that I
Yeah.
like to do, or even just kind of chilling around the house and not necessarily have to be obligated to do anything, just to kind of feel at peace with their energy around.
Right. Yeah. I feel the same way cuz I definitely for my dad's death date, I absolutely refuse to work on that day.
Mm-hmm.
I also make it a point to make sure that I go and visit him because we had buried his cremains where he grew up on Fisher's Island.
Hmm.
So me and my mom always go out there every year, and I want to make that like a statement to do every year. I do understand that life happens, and I'm sure there will be a time where that can't happen on that specific day.
Hmm.
But I will do my damnedest to make sure that that does happen. Um, so
Do
for
y'all do
me,
anything special like while you're out there?
I mean, so there's not really too much to do there. It's not like a tourist island. It's really strictly just for residents.
Hmm.
Um, but we just always make sure we go to his gravesite. We bring him flowers. I get very anal about making sure that like that I clean off his headstone.
Hmm.
Just I don't know, I'm just like weird. I don't like it to be
There's nothing
dirty
wrong
or
with that.
overgrown or whatever. So I always make sure that I clean it up a little bit. Um, and then we just kind of like drive around the island and like we'll go hang out at like the beach for a little while. And
Hmm.
then by the time we do that and like eat lunch, it's time to get back on the ferry to go back home. Because it only runs like so many times throughout the day.
Exactly. Yeah, but it still sounds like a honoring day for him, though,
It is.
because you're not just going out there cleaning off his headstone and heading right back, but you still spend time out there. So it's like he's not on the island alone, type of thing.
Right, exactly. And and on that same token, me and my mom get to spend some really good quality time together,
Hmm.
which is nice too. Because I don't know what I would do when she's not here anymore. Because I definitely don't want to go there by myself.
Right.
But I would still make it a point to make sure that I do go because I think to me it's important to me. So
Well, I think when that time comes, who you're with and the family you have created for yourself, I think at that point that's just kind of a tradition to, support you as mom, in that situation.
that's
So then
true.
that way it becomes a family thing. It doesn't have to just stop with you and your mom.
Yeah, that is true too.
Because
So
even though people aren't here, the future needs to know about them still.
right, exactly. So we'll see, but for now, that's kind of what we do, and it's funny too because this past year, I don't remember what prompted the conversation, but I had a conversation with my boss about it and stuff, and she was like, um, because I think it was someone else like requested the day off for like their parents' death day, and you okay?
Yeah,
Oh, weird.
the video like went blank on my side, and then it like was stuck on the recording.
Oh, well, apologize, guys, for our technical difficulties today.
Can you run that back?
But so somebody else had wanted to request off their like parents like death day or whatever,
Mhm.
and it was really hard with like staffing. I mean, at the end of the day, we made it happen, but it was a question of maybe not being able to like approve it. And
Okay.
she had asked me, and she was like, "Well, what would you do if like I didn't approve that day for you?" And I was like,
Ooh,
"Well, I like clearly I would be very like upset and I would try to think of like anything I could possibly do to make sure that I can get it off, whether it was like to, I don't know, find someone to work for me or whatever. Even though my
right.
job's not really like that, like I don't have to like get like shift coverage or whatever. Um,
Lucky.
but I know. But I was still like, how I think she was more just like asking like out of curiosity, not that she would ever tell me no, because I'm probably gonna sound real like whatever, but she can't tell me no,
Oh,
kind of
okay.
to not do it. But at the end of the day, I would be upset, but I would try everything in my power to make sure that I still could get it off.
Of
But I
course.
do also know that like shit happens, and if something like seriously needed to be done or completed on that day, like I would be understanding. I wouldn't
Mhm.
like be AWOL or, do something crazy. But
Girl, I'm calling out. I done gave y'all the opportunity to see I put in this request.
right.
I'm requesting it off for a reason. Okay. Well, just know I still have the option to call out so we can work together on this or working solo on this. And that means I will handle it myself
Yeah.
and I will handle a call out and keep it pushing. Which I hate. I would hate to be that person. I personally haven't had to do that.
Right.
But you know, if I really came down to it, I'm doing it.
Gotcha.
I'm
I
doing
hear
it.
you though. Yeah.
Because it's just work. I The more I go along in time, work can't be everything.
No, definitely not.
And yes, we need jobs to survive and to get anywhere, especially in this country of America. You have to have money. You have to be the wealthy to really like strongly survive out here. But sorry, I'm so easily distracted.
Sorry, my food's here.
But I've come to realize like when it comes like and it's all like I've mentioned before, I'm sure, from COVID, when all this hit, it's opened my eyes to how much more important family and personal time is. Like
Yeah.
you really need to like take control of that stuff.
Mhm.
And jobs for the most part are always going to be here. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like they always say, "Well, we're going to run without you. We ran before you coming here," and that type of stuff.
Kick your
But
ass. Everybody's always replaceable.
right. So it's just like, you know what? If they can't handle a day of me missing, now if you're that person who has terrible attendance and you usually miss days, this is not a suggestion for you. I
Right,
just want to
that's
make it
true.
clear. If
That's a
your
good point.
attendance is already on the fritz,
Yeah.
this that I'm saying does not seem applicable to your life. But for those of you who have good attendance and don't have anything to jeopardize, taking a day off here and there, especially for something important, is necessary.
Yeah.
And I think I really felt that when it was a week before Chewy passed away, where I thought he was dying and I was like frantic and didn't really know what to do. But the one thing I said I had to do was call out of work because I couldn't forgive myself
Mhm.
for being in an establishment that I felt like I had no business being in when something in my personal life was more important.
Right. Yeah.
And even though someone already passes, they still mean something to you.
Mhm.
And to still be able to honor them and think of them because we just go and go and go and go that we don't even slow down to take time to think about things.
Right.
So we don't want to ever get too caught up to miss those days to honor the people we truly love who aren't here walking the earth with us.
Mhm.
You know?
Beautifully said, Amanda.
It's important. I had to get that out. I felt all
I could tell.
that. No, it really has hit me a lot, and I try not to be that person who's like, "I don't need my job. I don't need any of this blah blah blah." I do need my job to maintain the things that I want in life, but
Mhm.
at the same time, my job is no longer taking precedence over my personal life,
Right.
which it has for as many years I've been working. So
Yeah.
this has got to
I
come to an end.
hear you on that one, and I love that for you because you definitely need to live a little more and
Thanks. Yeah.
stop working yourself to death.
Oh, I know.
Uh,
Uh, uh, it's true, but you
um,
know, I'm also going to incorporate. I don't think I'll necessarily take the day off for Chewy's day of passing or his birthday, but one of my uncles shares his birthday with Chewy. Actually, quite a few people share their birthdays with Chewy, so
mm,
that's enough to really keep it in memory for me. And I don't really think I would honor his day of passing. Uh, but I'll definitely always have him in mind when I'm going through my New Year's Eve rituals, since
hmm
he passed just before. Like I
yeah, of
always try to
course.
keep his energy near and dear, and you know
Yeah.
that's my first dog. I can't let him go like that.
No, he will never be forgotten.
Right. Gone but never forgotten.
Exactly. Um, but so that is how I treat my dad's uh, death day.
Hmm.
But when it comes to his birthday, that's a little different for me. Um,
How?
I I never actually, well, I guess technically speaking, I have taken off his birthday, but it was because with this other business endeavor that I used to be involved in is every year, oddly enough, like on my dad's birthday, we would have like a conference in Florida, and so I would
Mm,
always travel to go to that every year. So I was already like off of work, but I had something to kind of like keep my mind busy. So it's not something I really thought about.
yeah.
Um, and it's always on like Super Bowl weekend.
Oh, right.
So,
Jeez.
but now that I think actually this year, I think I did go to work, and it was kind of hard, but I think now after like having this conversation, I think I want to make it a point to also take off his birthday. And
Please.
just because I don't think I've really ever thought about it. Cause like to me, like the big day is like that tragic moment. I remember like watching him take his last breath and like all those kinds of
Mm-hmm.
things. Like that's a lot harder for me
Girl, yes.
to deal with. But like the birthday, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, it's obviously not as tragic
Right.
as watching someone you love die. But
You used to celebrate that with him, though.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
a
I guess.
birthday is a time where y'all would continuously spend time together.
Right.
Like growing up, that's your parents' birthday. We'd always celebrate them. So, why not celebrate their livelihood?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to, but the one thing that I do always make sure I do on his birthday is I always try to get a Boston cream donut because he was like obsessed with Boston cream, like whether it's donuts or eclairs or pies or
Oh
whatever.
wow. Oh wow.
So I would always make sure. And you know me, I don't really like chocolate, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You a
take it
little
down
different.
for one day. So
Right. One day out of the whole year isn't terrible.
right. Just as long as I don't gag.
Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. You
um,
you a real writer for your dad, because Boston Eclair anything is
Not your favorite, not by that face that you're
Boston
giving.
Boston Eclair, Boston cream, Boston. Yeah, no.
Have you ever
That's
had
true
one?
love. Yes.
You don't like it?
No.
No.
Like no, I don't. Not at
Well, it used to like be his thing. So your mama and your lobster rolls, and my dad and his Boston cream
all. Yeah.
donuts.
I might just be partially selfish. The lobster roll might be a little more for me too, but
Well,
I'm sure
hey,
her and I like them equally, so that was not a problem.
probably.
Yeah. Maybe I
Um,
should change to like scratch tickets or something.
no, I feel like that's even unhealthier habit.
Gambling. Right.
Yeah, no.
Keep
I
the
mean,
gambling alive.
I sure know my mama does.
That's such a thing though for that age group. I don't know. Like I
It
feel
really
like
is.
that's a thing for that age group. Like
God.
them scratch tickets, them shits came out in their 20s probably, and they're like, "Oh yes."
I know. And to circle back to how our episode started, that just reminds me being at your house and having your grandma watching the damn Powerball, and you would have to like. I feel
Yes,
like you would like help her like read
write
out the
down her
numbers or
numbers or
write down the
something. Yeah,
do something.
to
I
write down the
remember that.
Powerball numbers.
Hmm.
Lord jeez.
That used to be her thing too.
Yo, you over here remembering the most random stuff. You really having a good day because
I
your
know.
memory does not usually work like this
It
at all.
doesn't at all. But you know
At
what?
all.
I really love your grandma though, and I think it's just like taking me back.
Aw.
Like I just remember just like being in your house and like she would
Yes.
always she was
She was
just so
home.
cute. I love
Yes.
her.
She was home. She's just a sense of home, like
Definitely.
it was
And
always comforting with her around, even when you
mhm.
couldn't understand what she was saying.
Right? I don't need to. I feel all the, like the love energy. That's all I really need from her. And just seeing her sit on that little couch of hers. Um, definitely.
Oh,
What a lovely lady. I miss you, Grandma.
yes. Grandma Gray, it's all about you.
It is.
Well, I do
Um,
want to say thank you for sharing that story that you had with your coworker because it does show your growth and it shows how you are as, in your professional life as well, and that your support doesn't just stop when you get to work. Your support is at all times and it's genuine.
yeah, I definitely try. I try to relate with people as much as I can, and especially in that kind of a situation.
Hmm.
It's not obviously something I like to talk about, but if me telling that to somebody can help them, like I'm gonna do it. So,
Right. Kudos to you, girlfriend.
oh, why? Thank you. I'm trying over here.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But yeah, I thought that was kind of a good thing for us to touch base on today. But I don't think I have anything else for the people. Do you, Amanda?
Well, yes, I do. Um, so I have just a little PSA. We're on YouTube.
I was like, what is she about to say right now?
We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. If you could even listen to us on Facebook, we have
Damn.
so many different avenues for you to get in contact with us. We're on Instagram, Mindset Talks Podcast. You have so many different avenues to get in touch with us and share your thoughts with us and share your routines and traditions. And, even if you just want to say hi. We have no problem with
Please.
saying hi back. We love the love that y'all are giving us. We love our following, the support that we've been receiving.
Definitely.
And, we can't say thank you enough, but, we just had to kind of drop that dime on this one
We did, and I don't know why, but when you said that we're on Instagram and like you dropped the tag, I just got like a weird chill. It was very weird.
because that's where we at. Y'all know where you can find us. So definitely tune in, press rewind, play back if you need to just recall all the different hubs and, platforms I've mentioned. So I'm
Yes,
not going to
and
repeat it again this time, but I might the next episode.
but while you're looking us up on there, make sure you guys don't forget to like everything, comment on everything,
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Yes.
And
And thank you again for tuning into another episode.
yes, with us here at Mindset Talks Podcast, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.